Respected Professor Manoj K. Jar, respected Dr. Zafar Mahmood Saab, Professor, respected author Rahman Bhai, other dignitaries on the dais, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum. Let me begin with a disclaimer that I'm not speaking here today as a Kashmiri Muslim. And I have absolutely no intention of collating or linking up the issues of one community with the other politically disparate, demographically distinct community. These are two politically distinct communities, and I have absolutely no intention of linking the political issues of Kashmiri Muslims with Indian Muslims. I speak here as a human being, as somebody who stands up and speaks for oppressed classes, not just within the country but across the world. I must first congratulate the author for writing such an amazing book about the deprivation and denial vis-a-vis the Muslim community. This book has really been an eye-opener for me, somebody who has been in the field and trying to do something about not just issues related to one community, but about the issues related to all communities. But then the way this book has come up, it's an amazing, as Professor Jha said, that it's an amazing document. It is a piece of evidence which will be there for all times to come. And those people who have been telling us that Muslims have been laboring under a victimhood complex, and there is absolutely nothing like state inaction or state apathy, I think this book is the most profound answer to those voices. There are three approaches to problems of oppressed classes in India today. One is that when you talk about the issues related to oppressed classes, people will tell you that, oh, but Muslims are laboring under a victimhood complex. They're victims. When I resigned from IAS, you know what people said? People said this reinforces the victimhood complex. The problem today is that when victims speak for themselves, they are told to shut up. There's absolutely no space for the victim. When he says, come on, I have the evidence to tell you that whatever diagnostics were applied in previous years, whatever reports have been written, whatever data is available, here is the data. There is deprivation, there is problem. The socio-economic indicators of the oppressed classes are bad. People will say, no, you should not say this. This goes against the nationalistic, the pro kind of things narrative. This doesn't suit us. So I think with my resignation also and with the book, Mr. Rahman Bhai, what we have been trying to say is that when we speak for ourselves and when we speak for others as well, it's not necessarily that we are trying to reinforce the victimhood narrative. These are very genuine voices and they need to be heard. Second important thing is that when you talk about Muslims or other communities as well, you will get to hear that the problem is with Muslims. The problem is not with the state. Muslims are backward because Muslims do not want to go to school. Muslims are backward because they do not want to get educated. They do not want to get involved with the mainstream. They do not want to engage in the political processes. They are a divided lot. I think this is one more way of kind of shifting the onus onto the community. When you talk about Kashmiri Pandits, people say, oh, Kashmiri Pandits are not victims. They're just trying to be victims. When you talk about Dalits, people say the same thing. Dalits are not victims. The problem is with Dalits. The problem is not with the superior classes which oppress them. That's the second approach. Third thing is that when you ask the state to act, the state shows you certain examples. State will tell you, look, Shah Faisal is there. He represents, he's the symbolic of the change that Muslims have seen in the country. But I can tell you that for every one Shah Faisal who tops the civil services, for every one Rahman Bhai who is there in police service, you have 10 victims in the field who are getting lynched. You have 10 people who are not able to walk on the streets. I think it will be very wrong for us to project people like me, Rahman, by other people in the civil services, and then ignore the plight of the larger community of Muslims, of Dalits, of other oppressed classes. When you talk about Dalits today, people show you, oh, you have the president, he's a Dalit. Come on. This is not how things are in the field. I would lastly talk about, there's a formulation, what you call a house Negro and a field Negro. You know, when Martin Luther King was there, he had a huge tussle with Malcolm X. This is a very long story. I'll be just making it short. It's not acceptable to use the word these days, but then this formulation is something which is recorded in history. So there were people who were very close to the white classes, and those people had all the privileges available. They used to live within the houses of the white people. They were people who were closer to power centers, but they were black people. When somebody would go and tell these black people that you're powerful people, you're associated with them, but finally you're black people, you're being deprived, you're not being given your rights, they would say, oh no, we are not. We are house Negroes. We are good. Come on. Who tells you there's no deprivation, there's no problem? There's a class of house Negroes in all oppressed classes. Those people are closer to the power centers. They refuse to acknowledge that there is a problem. I read in Rahman Bai's book about one minister. When she was asked to adopt a constituency, she could not put her foot down when she was told not to adopt a constituency which was majority Muslims. Can you imagine? You have people within the community who say there's absolutely no problem. Muslims are the happiest lot on this planet. I want to send a message to those house Negroes that you better understand the ground realities. Get your heads straight and understand the pain that Muslims in this country are facing. There's absolutely no hope for this country if the constitutional values which this country stands for are sabotaged, disrupted, and subordinated by the party ideologies, by the ideologies of people who are out there to divide people and to build a culture of hate and intolerance. I feel very sad at times that the country, the Gandhi's country, can you imagine people being killed for eating beef, for wearing a cap, for having a beard, for belonging to a subordinate class? I mean, this is not the country which we understand. I wish the way Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, and Chhattisgarh, they have reinforced our hope in the democracy, that the bad times are there not to last for long. I hope that in coming years, the rest of the India also shows the way, and these bad times go. Thank you very much for listening to me. May God bless you all and give us the strength to face this crisis. Thank you.